Yeah, let's move on to the future of SG, what
Yeah.
you are looking to, I guess, accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with day one.
Yeah.
What do you, I guess, what's priority number one walking in there?
Yeah. So I actually have I was in the office yesterday, and I kind of that's I was asking all these questions. I was like, I don't know what to do, like because I I obviously can't do nothing between now and when I'm inaugurated, or I'll
Hmm.
be really unprepared. So, um, I mean, there's so many little details
Yeah.
that I'm already working. Just like little things that no one thinks of, like having to put together a guest list with all the addresses of people I want to bring, have at inauguration. How I want like my team to run, and what I want us all to move to Gmail, and have Becky, who's a lady at the front desk, like start using G Calendar or Google Calendar, so we can all be on that system. So just kind of the first step is kind of figuring out like how
The infrastructure.
how we want the office to run,
Yeah.
and so once we get that done, then we can really start working. We'll kind of establish our exec meeting schedule, and setting up meetings all over campus with administrators and students, and starting to talk to kind of the UT lobbying people to figure out what I'm going to need to start reading up
Hmm.
on, and practicing for the legislature, and so that's step one. But as far as like platform goals that I want to jump into immediately,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, I think one of the first things. So on the campaign trail, we met with like a bunch of state representatives, and also the mayor's staff, and something that the mayor's staff said they would be willing to do is launch the mayor student advisory council like within the first month if we were elected, and so I think that'll be kind of a cool first project for me. I've
Hmm.
done a lot of city stuff, and I mean, there's going to be a big vote in November on the rail line that's been
Yeah.
proposed, whether we're going to accept that $400 million federal grant, um, and so that's just an example of something that we can like execute right off the bat from our platform,
Hmm.
and then as far as everything else goes, we'll just form little working groups and start ticking away at things,
Hmm.
and preparing for the legislature with all of our state issues,
Hmm.
um, and another big thing, I think kind of a core competency of my team is kind of branding, and like
Yeah.
and all of that kind of stuff. I'm a business major, and so SG like really needs a just a refresh. I mean, the logo, the website, everything is just it's
Hmm.
not very interactive. It's not, we need to step it up in that regard, and so uh, we're gonna work on rebranding everything also by next fall. When you come back for the school year, I want it to be a
Hmm.
new look.
Okay. And yeah, that's kind of, I was actually going to get to that. So would you say that SG, as it currently is right now, has a PR problem?
Yes.
Yeah.
A really, really bad one.
Hmm.
No one knows what SG does. Um, I, if you look at the calendars of the people in student government, like, you would not at all, like, you know, everyone is so busy.
Hmm.
Like, everyone works so hard.
Yeah.
And, Liam's calendar is just, like, ridiculous. I
Yeah.
don't even know how he sleeps or does anything. But I think what needs to happen is there needs to be time built in to communicate what you're doing. Because if you don't have that kind of follow up step, then a lot of your work is kind of in vain,
Yeah.
because people, don't, if they don't know what you're doing, they kind of mistrust you. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, I think that, like I was saying, I want to start a little blog and just
Yeah.
kind of, have bi-weekly kind of a video update of what's going on. I think those kinds of things would be a really good step forward to
Hmm.
kind of opening student government up, and letting the student body see what we're doing.
Yeah. I'm kind of switching gears a little bit. What have you made any decisions about, like, who's going to be in your cabinet or?
No, we haven't even put the application together. That's something
Okay.
that Benize and I are gonna work on first thing, and we'll probably release that pretty soon after we get back from spring break, so that we can make some appointments at our first meeting. But yeah, I mean, exec board and a lot of the big agency director positions and all of those things will definitely be appointed very soon. So.
Is there like a mandated date that those have to be done by, or? Okay.
And there's also, if any of you all are interested, we have 4 assembly seats open. There are 3 it's impossible to get grad students to run for SG.
Yeah.
We have 3 grad spots which really need to be filled, and so we're going to be working with the grad advisors to get those filled, and then geosciences, there's also an opening. So I'm also looking for actually 3 reps to appoint. So their college councils have to appoint. But
yeah. Okay. I was curious, have y'all reached out to Minotaur and Justin? Are they gonna have any role in the next administration?
Yeah. I mean, we've certainly, we shook hands at night and, congratulated each other and, said, it's a great race and all of that kind of stuff. And we're definitely going to be meeting with them to see, kind of what they might want to do next year. I mean, who knows if they'll even want to be involved or if they have other priorities that they might want to focus on. We'll see. But I mean, I definitely want to talk to them and see what what their feelings are regarding student government, and they want to be involved in all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and I missed a question, so I want to go back a little bit.
Okay.
But in the last year, it's the Daily Texan and specifically Liam's administration kind of had a antagonistic relationship. Seems like there's a lot of distrust after his election, but it seems like they have sort of embraced you and your campaign. Do you feel optimistic about the working with the Texan and going forward?
Absolutely. I think that Minize kind of being like a writer, and she edited 2 publications her first 2 years, and so I think that we're a lot more comfortable with the idea of the media, always being or always wanting to talk to us and things.
Yeah.
I think that both organizations, student government and the Texan, kind of have the same mission of serving students. So and so I think if we can kind of relate to each other on that level, obviously, there's a lot of room for antagonism, but I think that if we can kind of relate to each other and commit to what I really want to do is have like a weekly meeting, with Lauren Winchester and whoever. There's been no consistent contact. It's only like when something awful happens and the Daily Texan actually finds out and gets pissed, and that there needs to be more regular communication. So I think we've built a really good working relationship with the Texan, being willing to interview and sit down and work on an article, and so I think if we can keep that up, that'll be a really healthy thing for the campus. And so I definitely want to improve that relationship. So.
Cool.